Good afternoon and welcome to the Raiders Club at Kipax, the Kipax Oval, where this afternoon's Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup Round 9 match, feature match for this weekend, about to get underway. An intriguing game we have in store this afternoon. The Queanbeyan sits second on this table, 6-1. The West Belconnen Warriors are fifth with 3 wins and 4 losses. The Warriors, of course, the defending premiers. So they haven't had it all their own way to start off the 2017 season, but the Troy Thompson coached side can never be written off, and it's going to be an interesting one this afternoon. Now, we've been advised of a late change for the West Belconnen Warriors. I'll go through the team in just a moment. Chris Coleman is my name. Thanks for your company this afternoon. And a reminder, you can get through to us on Twitter during the course of the game by using the hashtag CRCup, for obviously Canberra Raiders Cup. And we have the toss taking place down there at the moment. Captain for the West Belconnen Warriors, Aidan Greenwood, looks like he's won the toss and will be running from left to right on your picture this afternoon. There's very little wind down there. Beautiful day for football, and we will have a pause before this game for a minute's silence, and I'll just hand the microphone over to our ground announcer so you can hear the details as to why.
The West Belconnen Warriors would like to pay respects to the Brading family, who sadly lost Robin last week. Robin, along with husband Rob, was one of the driving forces behind the establishment of the West Belconnen Football Club in the early days. Our deepest sympathies go out to Bob and Bob's 3 sons, Colin, Jeff and Graham. Thank you for your time. We'll just do a minute's silence.
They're having a minute's silence prior to play today. This is the final game in round 9 of the Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup. As I mentioned before, West Belconnen sit 5th. The Queanbeyan sit 2nd. A win for West Belconnen will catapult them into the top 4 going into the second half of the season. Everyone will have played everyone after today's game, and we will have the midpoint of the season. Yesterday, Gungahlin 54, Woden Valley 12, the Queanbeyan Blues 34, Tuggeranong 12, Yass 34, Goulburn 22. And in case you haven't heard, the Monero side are the country champions for New South Wales for the year, defeating Newcastle 18-14 up at Newcastle yesterday. As we get underway, you're going to notice some fun here with this Queanbeyan Kangaroos jersey because the numbers are white on the back. We're going to have some fun with that, but let's see how we go with this one this afternoon as the West Belconnen Warriors have the first possession and the first error in the game as well, with a small little knock on there on their own. What is their own 10-metre line, I think it was. It's a little bit hard to pick up at the moment through some of that scattered shadow. Scrum will back down on the 20. First time I've seen the Roos this season. Not our first coverage of them on Bar TV, but certainly the first time I've seen them. Now that's Aroha, the big winger taking it forward for them. They come back to the left. That's with Lewis, about 5 metres out. Tries to inch forward a little bit further on the tackle. The hooker tried to sneak forward himself. Captain Coach Gorrell, but he found an option, and it looks like we got the first try for the game in the first minute of the game. Well, there you go. Don't make mistakes inside your own 20 would be the rule, I guess you can say there. I've got no idea who that is. Let's have another look. It's gone past the hooker. See if we can pick him up. He's the guy with the grey boots. That much I can tell you. So, unfortunately, I can't give you any indication as to who scored that try at the moment. We'll see if we can work it out a bit later on. It is very difficult to pick up those numbers from the Queanbeyan Kangaroos side. I'm just wondering whether it was the winger, Luke Damas. He's got the grey boots. He'd be the only one out there. He's the big boy on the far side. I reckon it's that bloke over there on the far side on the 20-metre line. Anyway, first try of the game in the books after just 1 minute. The 90 seconds taken for the conversion. It is 6-0, the away side over the home side. The Queanbeyan Kangaroos doing quite nicely to start things off this afternoon. Late change for the West Belconnen Warriors as well. Tim Sloman was out there warming up, their big front rower, but he disappeared just before kick-off and was very late replacement from Zach Adams. I'm assuming Adams played reserve grade this afternoon or in the under-18s. Played in reserve grade, so he would have had no warning at all. Fatigue will be a factor for him this afternoon. So it's the Roos continuing to just make yards at will at this stage. Kick from inside the 40. Getting underneath that is Philip Ryan for the West Belconnen Warriors, and he gets up to the 30. Makes some good metres, does Ryan. It's a very different looking West Belconnen Warriors side from what we've seen in past weeks as well. West Belconnen, of course, a number of players involved in rep footy yesterday, and they haven't backed up. A couple of players for the Roos have backed up from yesterday, mostly in their backs. That's Lidster getting into enemy territory, I think, for the first time today. Now taking it forward is Ashland. Doesn't get too far. Still outside the 40. They're across to the left, not too far. That's Connor Brebner. We've seen a bit of him on Bar TV earlier this season. Last tackle called. Kick comes from Thorley. Now, who have we got? That is really hard to pick up these players for the Roos. My apologies here. I think that was Simkin. Or was it Cronin? It was actually Cronin, the fullback, was out on the wing. That would be Afamui. Oh, it might have been him who scored the try, actually. Anyway, we'll come back to it later. We've got one in the books for them. We'll come across the field and see where the Roos can go. Gee, they're precision passing from them at the moment. That's Ayres. Now he offloads to Dumas. Kick comes from Crisp. You can hear Troy Thompson perhaps leaking through there. The coach of the West Belconnen side calling for offside and now calling for a penalty. And he may have actually had some justification in that as well, because it looked to me like the West Belconnen player was taken out in the air. Indeed, Andrew McDonald for West Belconnen just limping a little bit there as well. Not mucking around with it, with the kick. Middleton it is, sends it up towards the halfway. Oh, gee, anyway, he made about 8 metres on that kick. Play will restart on the 30. Coming out of the shade. This West Belconnen side, like I said, they are the defending premiers in the Canberra Raiders Rugby League competition, but just haven't had the start of the season that they would have liked. Now it's with Luke Ashland again. Gets past a couple. Makes plenty of metres. That's the 30 you can see. They go across to the right. Now through Watman. Still going up to the 20. Watman offloaded in there. He gets into dummy half now. They're across to the right through Middleton. Long ball. Gets it onto Thorley. Thorley Offloads late. Little knock on. Picked up by the Roos, but there's no great advantage for them in that play. So we'll get a scrum go down on the 10-metre line, and West Belconnen, well, I think it's fair to say that they've done a fair bit of that this season where they've got into good attacking position, just haven't been able to finish off. Don't know how you can change that, but a finisher might just be a necessity for them. Not quite sure who they can dig up to go with it. They're on the run up again, these Roos. I think that's Cronin. They go across to the left. And now we've got a whistle. There's Stephen Dunn in the bottom of that. Draws the penalty. Gets a few handshakes, as does Taholo. We get a bit of a taste of what we get in the commentary box here this afternoon as well. It's a very difficult in that near corner on the left-hand end of the field to see what's going on, and the sunlight this afternoon, or the shadow there, not helping us either. Josh Ayres, that is, as the Roos go across to the right now. It's with Lewis. He's up to the 10-metre line. In at dummy half is Gorrell. Across finds his halfback in Essex. Essex slung around in the tackle. He's a metre short. Tries to burrow through. Slow play of the ball. Gorrell gives it across through hands. They go wide. Taholo for them. They come back across again through Crisp. Now that is Taholo there. He's 3 metres out. They're across to the left again. Kick comes. Who's getting underneath it? Well, it's picked up by West Belconnen. I think it may have been knocked forward in there somewhere, so this might turn out to be more possession for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. Could be trouble time again for the West Belconnen Warriors. Score 6-0, 8.5 gone here. And we'll wait for the scrum to pack on the 10-metre line. I suspect that you at home watching this one, you can probably see those numbers more clearly on the back of the Queanbeyan Kangaroos jumpers than we can up in the box. It's a white blur from a distance, and that gives you a great example of it. That's Dumas. Now on the run through, looks like Gideon Afamui. He's held up. Connor Brebner, one of the tacklers there. Play the ball called. If they go long here, they've got space outside. They try to go long, but in the end, there's a couple of short passes. One long ball would have been better, I think. Ayres was close to the line. They go to the left. Steve Dunn. Now they're back across to the right. 5/8 Crisp it is. Manages to get the ball out the back somehow. That's the 10-metre line. Being run along there by one of the Roos boys. Little chip kick comes through, and it's well fielded by Thorley for the Warriors. They need to make some metres. They need to get out from this end of the field. That's McDonald, Jock McDonald, their fullback. Maybe his first, maybe only his second touch for today. 10 gone, 6-0 Roos over the West Belconnen Warriors. Long ball, a couple of long balls. And the Warriors make it up to the 40-metre line. There's an impressive little bit of play there from Luke Ashland. He's had a good game so far. Chip and chase. Now, who gets onto this? It bounces better for West Belconnen. Might have been a little knock on in there. Six tackle reset anyway. And I think that is Afamui. Or was it Simkin? Simkin it was. Now it's with Aroha. Nice had come in and played the dummy half role there. Let's come back across. This is Essex. Now it's on to Ayres. He's making metres in the tackle and gets the offload there. Gives it off to Aroha. He's a big boy for a winger, isn't he? It's the 20-metre line. You can see he's encroaching on there. Now it's with Gorrell at dummy half. He sends it across through Dunn. I could have raffled it off there. Would have liked to have seen it with Crisp for a little bit longer, but now he has it. Comes from dummy half. Goes across field. Run around play. Gets it back. He's 5 metres out. He can offload this. He does. Finds Essex. Essex passes more in hope than in direction. Gives it off to Aroha. They're back outside the 10. Aroha trying to push his way out of the tackle. Does push his way out of the first. Pushes out of the second. Brought to ground by Dustin Lister. They're across to the right. High ball comes from Essex. Who gets underneath it? Well, it's well taken over there. I reckon there might be McDonald over in that far corner. So the Warriors, well, their game so far has largely consisted of digging themselves out of their own end. The Roos playing some sensible football, some clinical football. McDonald again on that one. Wonder whether it might be worth trying something different next time if they don't get too much further down the field here. As you can see, up over the halfway line, maybe the early kick might help just to turn this game around a little bit. Thorley kicks for the sideline and finds the sideline at around the 20. So there will be a pause in play while the scrum goes down. Play to reset out, 20 out and 20 in from the sideline. It will be a Queanbeyan Roos feed. Chance here for the Warriors, if they can go quickly in defence and just man up and mark up, a chance to just hold the Roos down in something resembling their own territory so that their next set for the Warriors doesn't start on the far left of your screen at the northern end of this ground, or western end of this ground, I should say. Or northwestern, if we're going to be precise, isn't it? There we go. I get a nod from elsewhere in the box. Geographically challenged I am at times. Simkin for the Roos. Heads up to the 40. Now, this has not been ideal for the Warriors. Afamui nearly loses the ball in there. I saw Brebner have a go at trying to get it. And another player came in. It would have been a penalty. Ayres takes it forward now for the Roos, or was it? Anyway, we'll move on. Now it's with Dunn. That's who I thought it might have been, but there's Dunn there. Gorrell at dummy half. Couple of long balls. Airborne from Crisp. McDonald again over in the far corner. Very close to the sideline. Keeps it in the field of play. Not the best of passes to Jock McDonald. You've got Jock McDonald, E-double-L, at fullback for the Warriors, and Andrew McDonald, A-L-D, on the wing. And they're over in that corner of the field where the visibility is probably the worst for us in terms of patchy sunlight and shadow. We'll do our best, though. Brebner, Connor Brebner, the big boy. Still only at their own 30. That was Greenwood, I think, bringing it forward. Come across to the right. You can see plenty of blue jerseys spread out, and then the ball goes to ground once again. We've seen a couple of sides do themselves no favours in this competition already this season with poor ball security. And West Belconnen today, well, in some ways possibly lucky that they're only down by 6. That's Matthew Lewis getting the ball up to the 30. They come across to the right. Flat pass to Ayres. Still going. Finally brought down. Gorrell goes to the right. That's Taholo. 12 metres out. Now across to Ayres. Looking for someone to offload there is Tavita Aroha. Back to Ayres. What's that, the 4th time he's been involved in this set? He's still going and still bustling and hustling towards the line. He's called held, 5 metres out. Last tackle. Oh, nobody in at dummy half. That could have been catastrophic. I think he's got the ball down there. I thought it went down for Gorrell. Touch judge has given the referee the nod and said, yes, he has. You'll see this. He gets this down. The referee, unsighted, does the right thing. Goes to his assistant on the grandstand side. And I reckon he's got the nod there. Yeah, this is just sloppy. Nobody there. And by the time the West Belconnen defence has recovered, Aaron Gorrell, watch this, he just runs over and you see the ball go down right there. Nice camera work. Is it Monique on cameras this afternoon? Well done, Monique. Catching that one. So we have the first try of the afternoon, or the second try of the afternoon, I should say. The first one for Aaron Gorrell. (10-0), kick still to come. And I don't wish to sound harsh, but at this stage, the Warriors don't look like they're scoring. I would suspect a good 75 or 80% of this game has been played at the Queanbeyan Kangaroos attacking end. We await the conversion. Pretty good looking kick, and Brent Crisp has his second goal for this afternoon. So it's 12-0, 18 minutes gone. So the restart is underway. Good combination there between Gideon Afamui in the 3 and Jed Simkin in the 4 for this Queanbeyan Roos side. That's a better set for the West Belconnen side, as we see Jock McDonald bring the ball back up. They're so slow to get back on side. They've done themselves no favours. Tim Middleton into dummy half. That might have been Litster again. On the way up is Berry. So they're in attacking territory. Now it's with Litster. Gets up over the 40. Makes another couple of metres and then loses them as he's driven to the turf by Joshua Essex. And I think finally the Roos have given away a penalty this afternoon. They have indeed. West Belconnen, I think they've been desperate for one. They've got one. It'll be their second penalty for this afternoon, I think. Now they've made, well, a few metres here. This one will start, 10, 25, 28 metres out. Probably had a little bit more ground they could have gone with there. But that's not the issue. Berry gets the first crack. He comes up to the 20. Can West Belconnen reply? Watman sends it across to Killick Moran, in the headgear. He's 15 out, or in the headband. Watman has a couple of options, gives it to Thorley. Thorley long ball to Middleton. Nice play. He finds Fullerby. And Fullerby is 5 metres out. They've got a couple of tackles here. Some sensible football might just get him in. Middleton. Probably not the right option. Had Greenwood on his outside. Had Killick Moran further afield. Now he goes to Greenwood. Greenwood finds support, starting to pinball around here now. It's back with Thorley. Thorley charges himself. He's taken one with him. He's got the ball down, has he? I think that's a try. That's a pretty good try too. Don't think they did themselves too many favours in the lead up to it, but in the end, all that matters is that the ball's been planted on the turf, over the stripe, and Chris Thorley has a try. You'll see it here. Comes out wide. Oh dear, there's nowhere for us to go, so Fullerby very smartly has a look. Took a second, just took a beat, I think, there. I'll give you the second replay on this. Just have a look at Fullerby. Riley Fullerby in the 3. This isn't him. That's out wide, so that's the wing out. Comes back to Fullerby. Yeah, you see him there. He just takes a beat. And he says, who's the best place to do something with this? Gives it to Thorley. Thorley takes one with him and gets the ball down over the line. Nice try. Nice smart football from Riley Fullerby. Nice smart football from Chris Thorley as well, because I suspect he might have actually thought about passing it further afield, but he saw the gap was in front of him. So 4 points in the book for Thorley. But I can tell you, you in some ways, chalk up a very good assist there to Riley Fullerby. Should be, I hate saying this because it always makes it difficult, should be the easy conversion for Andrew McDonald. I've got my apology book already lined up if something goes awry here. Left footer, no problem at all. So McDonald gets the conversion, and we've got a bit more of a game on our hands here now. 12 points to 6, 18 and a half to go before half time. So, the Warriors get it back again. Probably the try scorer was the man who received it. Now we've got a penalty in here. Just a little bit high. No problem at all for, I think it's Will Berry? Now, sitting on the ground there, you might have seen this, he's getting some attention from the trainer. That's Stephen Dunn from the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. I didn't see what happened to him. But we'll see if we can pick it up because the play stopped here for a second. Dunn's just, he's just stretched out in the tackle. You see him, there he goes, tries to make the tackle and doesn't get anywhere. You can see the slightly high tackle resulting as well, but Dunn just reaches out, has a go, and just shits. Maybe shoulder partial separation in there perhaps. He's certainly, he's standing up now, having a bit of a conversation. Inherently the most unstable joint in the body, the shoulder. Maybe he's copped a blunt bump on the nose. Maybe it's a... It all happened at speed, a long way from us, and with Stephen Dunn facing the other direction. That one's ours. That's landed almost in our commentary box up here at Raiders Kipax. But you can see there, Daniel Killick-Moran does well, gets it up over halfway. They're playing a little bit more speed now, the West Belconnen Warriors. William Berry coming in off the bench has added some pace to them. This bloke also, Bailey Graham now, comes across through Thorley. And they give it to Greenwood. That's the 20, almost at. Across to the right, no, across to the left where they've got one extra player. The Roos defence was up and into their faces very quickly. Graham in at dummy half, loses the ball. Referee very sharp on the whistle. I can tell you that Troy Thompson, the West Belconnen Warriors coach, is just outside the window next to me. And, I heard a three-word phrase then. The second was schoolboy, the third was errors. I'll leave you to guess what the first one was. It's a family show. Please put your entries in a sealed envelope. Reminder, you can find us on Twitter during the game as well. Use the hashtag CRCup. Now, I'd like to see a replay on that if we can get a replay on that, because we nearly saw a scrum there go against the feed. If we can sneak in a quick peek at this, because we don't get that very often. What happened here? It's gone in, it's bounced forward, and then the referee's blowing the whistle. I'm not quite sure why that was pulled up in the end. Maybe the tiniest of knock-ons from Middleton, but I don't know. It looked okay to me. Just seems that these days if a scrum goes against the feed, the referee finds something to blow up the whistle about. Let's not get on the scrum debate. Let's just not go there. I'll just talk about what's happening on the field right now, shall I? The Roos on the attack again, coming forward there through Gorrell. He's really doing a great job there, captain, coach and hooker, involved in everything for the Roos. That's Ayres, I think. He makes meters every time. It is indeed. And now he's milked that penalty. I will say that he's managed to milk that one. There may have been a little jumper grab in there, but he certainly made it a lot harder to get up than it needed to be. Or has that gone the other way? Let's have a look at this. He goes down. So there's multiple players in the tackle. Now you'll see Ayres goes down, and then there's a little arm in there, but he really makes a big show out of it. And indeed, he's getting a bit of a call out here. He's getting spoken to by the referee and the touch judge. Now I didn't see anything untoward in it myself, but this is going to be a penalty to West Belconnen. So I thought Joshua Ayres had gone for a bit of the amateur theatrics in there, and I reckon he's been pinged for it. I don't mind when a referee does that because, gee, it's really annoying when a player makes it look a lot harder to get up than it actually is, and I think maybe the little flop in there didn't help. So West Belconnen a great chance to square this one up with about 15 to go before half-time. Berry takes it forward towards the 10. The game's changed, West Belconnen, since Bailey Graham came on. He's injected a whole new sense of direction from dummy half. Takes his third option there, gives it to Thorley. Thorley bounces out of the tackle. He's having a blinder so far today, is Chris Thorley. He's got one try and was 4 metres away from adding a second. The gap closed up on him, though. Graham in a dummy half again, gives it to Middleton. Middleton, long ball, gets it across to Fullerby. Fullerby running just like his old man used to, comes back to infield. Now it's with Graham, across to Ashland. Ashland charges towards the stripe. He's 3 metres out. They need a quick play of the ball. They don't get it. Graham in the end does well to salvage something out of it. He's asking for the try. He's saying, I got it down on the stripe, sir. Referee saying, no, you didn't. Saying you've lost that forward, sunshine. Wasn't much in it. Have a quick look. He's got the gap. He goes forward. And, oh, I see what's happened. He's bounced off the post. There you go. You'll see Graham comes in, bounces off the post, and the ball comes loose in there. I think that the Roos might have been a smidgen lucky to get away with that because there seemed to be two in there and potentially a hand in the on the ball as well. But it is what it is. They got the feed of the scrum, and now they are on their way upfield, and they are marching upfield incredibly quickly. That's Afamui. Takes it up to the halfway point. Across to the left. And the big kick from Crisp. It's a towering bomb and it goes very, very deep. McDonald did well there to take that. In fact, it was Andrew McDonald, and he's just, as soon as he's taken it, he's been collected by a semi-trailer towing a B double rig, and is not very comfortable at all. He really did get hit hard. I don't think any foul play in it. It's a monster bomb from Crisp. That stayed in the air. That's an NFL punt almost. And you see Andrew McDonald, he's taken that. He's gone to his knees, and I'm just wondering whether the knee is actually what's causing him the trouble here. You'll see as he catches it well, goes to ground, and I think the knee's just been driven into the turf as he's been hit by one of the chasers there. I think the chaser is Cronin. We'll just bring you this again. You'll see just here as he comes in, goes up, and just there, as the tackle, it's actually the other bloke. Is it Nukarua Nagiri? Yeah, Nagiri has come in as the second player into the tackle. It's just jarred the knee a little bit. Andrew McDonald is now up. He gets a pat there from Nagiri, so he's still holding that leg a little bit. So we'll see whether he stays out there, McDonald, or whether he gets a break with 13 to go till half-time. A reminder, our on-screen clock unofficial. That's a good guide for you, but we're about a minute difference between them at the moment. 13-14 to go till half-time. Great little play there from the West Belconnen Warriors to get it across field. Spinning around, gets it back to Ashland. That was nice play from them. Didn't make too many metres, but it was just a good fluid passing set. Now Aidan Greenwood gets up over the 30-metre line. They come across to the right. Kick early. Get it out of there. Underneath it was Cronin. Must have come backwards off his hands, and he gets it back up towards the halfway line. That's with Aroha in at dummy half, getting across through to Jed Simkin. Simkin gets in underneath. And across to the right. There's an added degree of difficulty with these ruse jumpers that I'll tell you about in a second. That was Taholo. Now it's with Joshua Essex. I've only had this issue one other time in my commentary career. It was years ago. I was doing a Fremantle Dockers AFL game in the days when they had a white anchor on the front of their jumper. And it makes it, that blaze of white, especially running in and out of shadows, made it impossible to pick up facial features. And it's a similar thing with this band of white around this Queanbeyan Kangaroos jersey. It just makes it very, very difficult to pick up the player's face because you're drawn to the white stripe, so to speak. Taholo. Now it's with the hooker. That's Gorrell, captain coach, directs the traffic, goes long-ish. He's given it off to Crisp, and Crisp is, I reckon, half a metre short. Referee says much the same. They come across to the left. They've got numbers, particularly there. That was Jake Kiley, I think. They come back across to the right. Doing well to pick it up off the ground was Crisp. He's a metre short. Good defence here from the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. Now Wiley comes into dummy half, and he's taking a lot of time to get up and play, so he might be hurt there. Wiley runs in over the line. Oh, don't tell me he scored a try. Oh, he has. That's a soft try. That's a really, really soft try. An injured Brent Crisp, or a very slow Brent Crisp, plays to Troy Wiley, and there was forever for that defensive line to be set. This is just, gee, that's just poor. That's just poor. Nobody standing there. I don't have anything else to say other than what on earth happened there. Troy Wiley scores. We'll keep an eye on Crisp as well, because he doesn't necessarily seem to be quite himself. So is that 2 tries we've seen today set up from very close range? One from the dummy half and another one from, one man off the dummy half. Well, Crisp was taking the conversion attempt here. We have exactly 10 minutes till half time on the scoreboard clock. How's Crisp go with this? Puts it through. No problem at all. And we're back to a 12-point margin. We've seen a good spell from West Belconnen, but it all comes undone very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. So 18 points to 6. 3 tries to 1. 9 minutes to go. You'd imagine we'll get the big, deep kick off, and that's precisely what we get. There's been very little of this game played down at the right-hand side of the field. Ayres brings it forward for the Roos. Now they come across to the right. Okay, so 3 tackles, and they've only made it out to their 30. Oh, and I say that, and watch what happens. Comes across through Afamui to Simkin, and Simkin gets up over the halfway and adds another 10 metres. He's trying to get a penalty out of that. Quick play, the ball might have been a better option. He dropped that in there, says Troy Thompson outside the window. I agree with him. And there's got to be a knock-on in there. There's a knock-on in there from the Queanbeyan Roos, and now we've got Brent Crisp has thrown the ball away, inadvertently hit one of the Warriors players. There's a few words going on. There'll be a scrum go down here. In some ways, I think West Belconnen a little bit unlucky. There could have been a scrum, I reckon, 10, 15 metres further up the field. Referee's called time off, so with 8 minutes and 11 seconds till half time, there's now going to be a conversation down here. Let's see what we can try and pick up here. He's called out Aidan Greenwood and Aaron Gorrell, so you've got the 2 captains there. This might just be, guys, we've had a good game of football so far. Let's settle this down. Time back on. Scrum will pack, and I suspect that at some stage the message will be passed on, or is supposed to be being passed on, from the captains to settle things down. Now, what you can't see on your screen, but I can see right in front of us at the moment, is Andrew McDonald, the speedy winger for West Belconnen, is making his way from the field, holding his lower back or his hip, and I suspect he might be cooked. Certainly wasn't making his way off with any great confidence that he was going to return, so that will make the task even harder for the West Belconnen Warriors. Taking it forward is Greenwood. He makes, look at that, he's still going as Greenwood. He's made 25 metres there. He's up to halfway. Graham in at dummy half. Thought the target might have been Killick Moran, but it's not. It was Zach Adams. Haven't seen much of Adams. A very late call up to the game. Now it's Daniel Killick Moran. We go from 20 to 10. Killick Moran to Adams. Oh, geez, look at that run from Thorley. Gets the pass off, and then the littlest of knock-ons in there from Bailey Lockhead. Haven't seen a lot of Lockhead today, have we? Only a couple of touches so far today, I reckon. Hasn't done a great deal. And perhaps that lack of time with ball in hand has contributed to him not being able to catch hold of that. Certainly trying something different with the Warriors on that set, on that last tackle, and as a result, just a handover to the Roos, and in very dangerous territory. And now you've got to get up faster than that. You've really got to get up faster than that. Penalty for the Roos. So with 6 minutes remaining in the half, they'll be able to start in very good field position. This will be at about the 30. In fact, almost exactly on the 30. So they tap it. You see Gorrell in there. He really is the focal point for this attack. That might have been Aidan Woods in there. It was. Aidan Woods is into the game. Haven't seen Woods prior to that today. And Jesse Dent has also come on. He's in the headgear. Now, that's Wiley looking for the line. He's already got a try against his name. Crisp just throws it out wide, and he's got it onto the very athletic Jed Simpkin, and Simpkin has scored in the corner. One of the more pretty tries you'll see this year, and something that would make Troy Thompson absolutely spit chips, the West Belconnen Warriors coach up here. I haven't seen him throw a notebook to the ground, but gee, that's just Crisp saying, who's out there? And he sees Simpkin. Simpkin, I will say this, has done well to pick it up off his toes, and perhaps would have scored without the aid of the dive. Let's have another look. Ball comes across. Simpkin picks it up off the ground. Was going for the dive. I think the dive has actually contributed to the difficulty factor there. So we'll get a 6.0 for the dive from the Russian judge, and a 4.5 for the difficulty from the American judge, and 4 points in the scorebook to Jed Simpkin. Don't know what else we can say about that. 22 points to 6 is the score. Kick to come from right out on the far side. This is the hardest one Crisp's had to deal with so far today. And unsuccessful for Crisp. So the score remains 22 points to 6. So we're starting to see these Queanbeyan Kangaroos bench players have an impact. So we saw Dent, we saw Woods. Both get involved in the lead up to that. Again, just helping them a little bit more. And they have a 3-try break now with 3 minutes to go before half-time, and they would just love another one. Litzter and Thorley, I think, in the tackle there was. Now that's Jesse Dent, spoke about him before. Tries to go through low, can't get anywhere. up to the 30. So that was Afamui. He played in the under-18s earlier today, I think. I think he did. I caught the last couple of minutes of that game. I've driven back from Sydney this morning, so I didn't catch as much of the early entertainment as I like to on a day like today. Brent Crisp with yet another high ball. Oh, he's made a complete hash of that. Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible defence. And Brian Cronin just comes in, picks up the crumbs and says, "Thank you, mother, for the rabbits." Scores. Jeez, this is turning into a landslide. Absolutely no problem at all for Brian Cronin. I think it was Philip Ryan for the Warriors, who's just... I don't know what's happened here. The sun's behind him. It's just a high ball. He's got to it here, plenty of time, and has just overrun it. Has completely misjudged it. Brian Cronin's done the right thing, followed it up, and placed it over the stripe. Could be a long afternoon for the West Belconnen Warriors here on Bar TV this afternoon. Not much more I can tell you at the moment other than it's 26-6. I reckon the Warriors will be hoping Brent Crisp takes all the time in the world that he's entitled to for the conversion. I can't even see where Crisp is. You've got a better view on the monitor there on your screen at home, and I can tell you it's gone between the posts. That's about all. He's gone 4 from 5 with conversions in the first half. 28 points to 6. And we're into the last minute. The Warriors are taking as much time as they possibly can to get up to halfway. Graham takes again, an extra second to get it on to the tee. Kicks it off deep, deep, deep down, right to the goal line. So now they really do need to make sure they don't do anything silly here, West Belconnen. They've just got to hold on. Oh, they might get a chance to score here because the Roos have spilled it forward. Graham's picked it up. 20 seconds remaining. Can they get something and have some momentum going into the break? Daniel Killick-Moran. He's up to the 20. Now it's with Thorley. Thorley kicks for himself. That's going to bounce too deep, is it? Only just. Jock McDonald was chasing it. Could have done with a slight change in direction when the ball bounced, but instead it just continued forward. And we get to the break with the Queanbeyan Kangaroos leading the West Belconnen Warriors 28 points to 6 here at Raiders Kipax. You're watching Bar TV. We'll have the second half for you shortly. Just about time for the second half to get underway in this, our Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup Round 9 feature match. It's the West Belconnen Warriors hosting the Queanbeyan Kangaroos, and it has been virtually one-way traffic here today. The Queanbeyan Kangaroos are leading 28 points to 6. There is the whistle to start the second half, and we're away. Deep kick-off comes from the Warriors. They need to play this game up the other end of the field. They have been unable to do that to any great effectiveness in the first half, as a 5-try-to-1 scoreboard would suggest to you. Ayres for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos gets up towards the 40. In the headgear it's Dent. Goes for a little dance, dives towards the halfway line. I think that's the 4th. Okay, so that's the 5th, so 5 and last. High ball in the centre of the field. That's not going to be easy to take because the sun's there. McDonald did well to actually hang on to that. Went to ground though, couldn't make any further yardage. And again, this Roos defence, they've just been up fast all day. Brian Cronin's been particularly good for them. Warriors continuing to charge up. There's Lockhead on that occasion. Now it's Greenwood. Makes it to the 40. Ashland. Now the kick comes from Middleton. No problem at all for Dumas to field it. Goes across the field. Oh, and that's a pretty ordinary pass, and that's either gone into touch or it's a knock-on. Take your pick. But either way, West Belconnen will start the second half with a good set of possessions now. Conversation going on between the referee and a couple of other players there. Oh, the referee's just marked his turf. He's saying, no, this is where the scrum's going to pack. End of discussion. Interesting, we're only 2 minutes in and there's plenty of players taking the chance of this scrum sitting down to just suck in a couple of the big ones and get some more air in the tank. Referee moves the scrum right over, so it's bang on that 20-metre line. Taking it up is Ryan. A little bit of a lift there. Referee's called held. Could almost have been a penalty. Graham in at dummy half gets it off to Killick Moran. He's been good since he came on. Probably their most involved forward since he's been on the field. Through hands to Middleton. Comes back on the inside. Tries to get past Dent. Instead gets sent back outside the 20 again. Go forward is the cry from the coach's box next to our commentary position. That's Berry. Up to 10 metres out. And they go right. Thorley, the only try scorer today, and he offloads. And target was Jock McDonald, but instead it's wound up in the hands of, I think it might have been Stephen Dunn for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. Dent brings it forward up over the 10. So they've got a long way to go, but gee, they haven't had any problems making yardage today. This Kangaroos side. That's Woods, Aidan Woods, getting it up over the 10. Simkin. You can see him there. He was ready for it on the previous tackle. Held off and picked that one up. Now, has he called for a strip in there? He's called for the strip. The referee has agreed with him. And so the Queanbeyan Kangaroos, who I said just a moment ago have a long way to go, now don't have terribly far to go at all. That's a good kick on the penalty. Takes it up to about the 25-metre mark. Well, play on the 30. I think they've been shortchanged by about 5 metres. But the way they've been playing today, I don't know if it's going to make that much difference. Now they're across to the right. Bouncing out of tackles. That's Dumas, the winger, I think. I've just got... That's a good little move there from West Belconnen in defence. Okay, Dumas. He gives it out to find Crisp. Crisp could go himself. He gets to the line. Can he get the ball down? I think he might have placed it down. Indeed he has. And Crisp, he's had 4 conversions today. Adds a try next to his name in the scorebook now. We'll see it here. Crisp gets it on the 10. Shapes to offload to Troy Wiley. Doesn't need to. He just bustles through. I tell you, this West Belconnen side is just starting to look a wee bit tired out there. And I reckon we've discovered who scored that first try back in the first half. We thought it was a forward, but it actually looks like Gideon Afamui. Still not sure about the hairstyle. We'll keep an eye out. Let's see for the conversion here. 32-6, make it 34-6. As Brent Crisp converts his own try. So he's having quite a day, is Trent Crisp. West Belconnen will be getting tired of kicking off and then seeing the ball just come back at them at pace. And the Roos starting to go for party trick time. A few long balls in there. Aidan Woods, the eventual recipient. They come back to the right. And they keep going to the right now. Saw Troy Wiley ready for it, but it never got to him. Run around play from Essex. Onto Woods. They come back to the right again. It was Lewis, and he's offloaded that. And it's been picked up by West Belconnen. And now slow to get out of the way. And the penalty comes for the Warriors. Now, they take the tap here because it was right in the centre of the field and there wasn't a great deal of confidence in their own kicking by the sounds of it. So Thorley, he's tapped it and gone and made 13, make it 14 metres as he gets up over the 40-metre line. I've been really impressed with Bailey Graham today in number 14 for the West Belconnen Warriors. He really has added something to their attack. Unfortunately, though, he hasn't had a great deal of support. He spins around, goes the full 360. Gets the don't argue from Aaron Gorrell and goes to ground. Now it's Thorley again. Comes left, finds Middleton. Middleton, long ball. He's got support there. It was Greenwood. And we're lifted in the tackle. Planted unceremoniously. They're 11 short of the line. Graham goes to the right. Gets it onto Ashland. About 5 metres out. Last tackle. What can they do here? Graham, little chip kick. And that was a pretty... Oh, he's dropped it there, has Aidan Woods. Dropped it and knocked it forward. So this should be a scrum to West Belconnen, 10 metres out, directly in front of the posts. Oh, good chance for them to score here. This is very clever from Graham. And you see him go in there, Bailey Graham, goes in for the tackle. Doesn't necessarily try to tackle the player. Goes to tackle the ball instead, knocks it clear. Another set for the West Belconnen Warriors. That's with Middleton. Charges towards the gap that closed up very, very quickly. Hangs onto the ball. Bailey Graham goes to the right this time. Connor Brebner. Still going is Brebner. That's the try line you can see. He's held up a metre short. Which way do they go? They go to the right. Graham hangs onto it for just a second. Gives it off to Middleton. Middleton charges to the line. He's only a metre short. He's brought to the ground. Now it's Graham. Back to Thorley. Thorley overhand pass. Gives it off to Litster. Litster cuts back on the inside. He's lifted in the tackle. Only to the horizontal. Lands okay on the ground. Which way? Across to the left. They give it to the big fella. Daniel Killick-Moran. Can he get the ball down? We'd like to see play continue for just another second there. But Killick-Moran wasn't able to get it down. Takes it back out to the 10-metre line. Now it's with Graham. Gives it across to Middleton. Middleton could have passed, decided to go himself. He's held up over the line. 2 successive tackles held up over the line. Okay, play continues. Luke Ashland charges for them, for the Warriors. He's only a metre short. Those first 8 or 9 metres aren't the problem. It's the last 2 and the and then the vertical half metre to the ground that have seemingly proved impossible in this set. Middleton, grubber kick, too deep, out over the dead ball line. And we'll come back to the 20 for the 7-tackle restart. Good start from Jed Simpkin. He makes 10. With Afamui this time. No, it's not Afamui. Might be Aroha, actually. It was Aroha. Apologies. Still struggling with this big white flash across the middle of that Queanbeyan Kangaroos jumper. It's just very, very difficult to pick up additional features off these faces and bodies. They're across to the right. Through Lewis. Oh, little party trick. Gets it back to Jesse Dent, and Dent flops over the line. And if you think that looked easy, I think it was. They've gone the length of the field in about 45 seconds. Almost a training drill. You see here, quick pass. And the pass comes on to Troy Wiley. Wiley gives it back to Jesse Dent, and it's done. It's just too easy. You've got to bring players down, but at the same time, when you've got a little bloke trying to bring a big bloke down, he needs some help, some support from his teammates, and it just didn't seem to be a great deal of it around. So it's 38-6, 27 minutes to go. And this is turning into a very long afternoon for the faithful here at Kipax. Chris slots it for conversion number 6 for the afternoon. So 38, so 40 rather, 40-6 the score now. 26 minutes to go. And I'm just wondering whether we start to get into damage limitation mode here for the West Belconnen Warriors, because they just have looked thoroughly outclassed. A win for them this afternoon would have put them into the top 4. I don't think a loss will see them drop anywhere on the standings, but it won't do their points differential any favours. 40-6, and the defending premiers have a lot of work to do in the second half of this Canberra Raiders Cup season. Matthew Lewis was on that occasion. Now it's with Taholo. They come across to the left. That's Aroha. Still going as Aroha. Flicks it out the back door. You can tell there is a side that's 34 points up. They're starting to try the party trick stuff now. Aidan Woods. Oh, geez. Is he covered in spiders or something? Nobody's laid a hand on him from about 30 metres out. That and I may have said this about one of the earlier tries this afternoon, but that is about as easy a rugby league try as you will ever see. That was just... Seriously, he just picks it up here, goes across the 30, the 20, comes across field over the 10. He gets one half-hearted tackle attempt when it's too late from Tim Middleton, but otherwise, it's just nobody. My apologies, I think I've called that as Aidan Woods, but I think it's actually the halfback Josh Essex who scored that. So, apologies for the name, but well, I'm not going to dwell on it. We've discussed the jumpers already this afternoon, and we'll leave it at that. Actually, I'll throw in one other comment. The reserve grade jumpers have nice big black numbers on the back of them. So if anyone from the Kangaroos does actually take a chance to have a look at the video, have a look at the video of the reserve grade as well. So 44-6. If you are playing along at home and you're wondering what who the scorer of the first try was, we have finally gone back and managed to find the only still frame that shows the player unobscured from the previous video. Good, and it was Queanbeyan who scored that first try. So rather amazingly, we are yet to see duplicate try scorers for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. Thus far it's been Brian Cronin, Queanbeyan, Jed Simpkin, Brent Crisp, Josh Essex, Aaron Gorrell, Troy Wiley and Jesse Tent. 8 tries, 7 conversions to 1. And you just get the feeling that the Queanbeyan Kangaroos are not done yet. They have been the most potent attacking force in the Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup thus far this season. They have not let up against any opposition when they've had the chance to keep rolling and piling on the points. They have done precisely that. Kick comes from Essex right down into the corner now. This might actually wind up... It just goes into the in-goal area. It's picked up by Jock McDonnell. It's stopped dead for him, and he's been stopped dead by 2 other players. There's nobody else back on side. Fullerby finally gets there. There seems to be, shall we say, a little bit of hustle lacking out there at the moment from the West Belconnen side. But again, you can understand why when you see that. You run 3 metres, then get picked up and shoved back 2 of them. Here's a bloke who's had a good afternoon, Luke Ashland for them, making another few metres. Nick Watman has been unsighted for a lot of today. Bailey Graham was in with that. He's had a pretty good afternoon. Connor Brebner has been good in patches. Now it's with Litster, was it? It was. He was the man who was wrapped up on the 40-metre line. Midfield bomb, trying something different, fielded by Dumas for the Roos. And again, he just makes metres so easily. It's been the story of the afternoon. Dent comes in and plays at dummy half. Gives it across to Brian Cronin, I think that is. He thinks about passing. Doesn't have to. Aroha comes into dummy half. We've got players playing in all out of position here now for this Queanbeyan Kangaroo side. They've got guys, they've got wingers playing dummy half. We've got backs playing in the forwards. We've got everything going on. Essex finally has a crack. That wasn't a Geary. No, it was actually Kylie in the bottom of that. Comes through hands. Now it's with Troy Wiley, and Wiley scores. And he becomes the first double try scorer. I suppose the weight of numbers eventually had to tell. Wiley gets his second for the afternoon. And that's the half century for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. Just too easy. Just through hands, through hands. Nice little ball from Brent Crisp to Troy Wiley. Just the clever little runaround play. And the gaps are opening up all over the place. How long to go? 20 minutes. Anytime one side gets to 50 and the other side has yet to crack double figures, you can say it's ugly. On this occasion, you can say it's got the potential to be even uglier. There's still a quarter of this game remaining. So Brent Crisp lining up with the conversion. I'm just trying to work out. I'm looking at the Warriors list that I've got in front of me. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I'd like to see happen for them. I just don't know what it is. I appreciate that it's not their full of strength side. They are well down on strength with the number of boys having played rep football yesterday as the conversion comes through from Crisp. What's that give him? 8 for the afternoon. 8 conversions from 9 tries. 52 points to 6. So I appreciate the Warriors are down on strength. They really have looked like they belong in a different competition today. This Kangaroos side just into high gear from the start of the game. A little bit of a juggle there from Afamui. So we've had the knock on. Which means we'll get a scrum here. And West Belconnen, well, I'd say they're playing for pride, and I'd say there are probably a few guys potentially playing for their short-term future in a first-grade jumper, because there's been a few guys who seem to have been missing this afternoon. A few players have had the chance to step up and show they're worthy of a first-grade spot, but they haven't been able to really cement that at the moment. Middleton gets it across to Thorley. He's been good for them this afternoon. He scored their only try, and he's maybe adopted the attitude there from that run. Oh, maybe I've got to do it all myself this afternoon. Ball goes to the ground from Connor Brebner, who was tackled simultaneously with the ball arriving. He's lost it forward, and it'll be a scrum for the Kangaroos 10 metres out. And again, another scoring opportunity goes begging. I don't know if the longer ball was an option there. You saw there Fraser Harvey, and I don't recall, I may be wrong, but I don't recall mentioning Fraser Harvey's name terribly often this afternoon. He was at full speed, but the cutout pass went past him, and Brebner wound up putting the ball to ground. So the Kangaroos with the scrum bring it out. Might be Simkin in underneath there. No, it's his centre partner in Afamui. Now it's Wiley. Dent getting plenty of the football. Coming in at acting half after starting on the bench. Takes it up to about 35 metres out from his own line. You see every tackle. Well, that time it was Matthew Lewis. Now there's been a little bit of niggle in there, and that's what can happen when a game gets this one-sided. A little bit of niggle, and you can see Thorley coming up and having a chat. I'm just wondering whether Thorley's moved into the captain's role, because I don't spot Aidan Greenwood out there at the moment. Also don't see Andrew McDonald out there, so he is definitely a loss for this West Belconnen side. That's Troy Wiley. He's got 2. He'd be looking for the hat-trick. He's 12 metres out. Now it goes to Taholo. Taholo charges up 5 metres out. We've got numbers to the left. They don't use the numbers, instead going in short. Now we've got... Oh, that's no good. That's Bailey Graham down. He's been very good for the West Belconnen side this afternoon, and he looks like he's in a world of trouble. Well, that's not good at all. The referee was very quick on the whistle, and I know they like to let play go as long as possible. Now, what's happened here? He's had the tackle. I'll see this again. I'm just trying to work out what's happened. Two in the tackle. He gets landed on potentially by Brebner, but he seems to be okay at that point. It's that when he releases. It's this. I've been advised maybe he's copped one in the. Oh yeah, there it is. There, it's yeah. That's the receiving a blow in a very sensitive area. Let's just go with that. So he'll be okay. He certainly released his grip very, very quickly on the tackled player. Probably had bigger things on his mind. They go to the left of the Roos. Long ball. And it's been slapped down, and the Warriors have come up with it. So apologies if it's a little bit low energy at the moment. We've got 46 points the difference and 16 minutes remaining. The West Belconnen side really don't look like they've been in the position to score. Bailey Graham has taken a couple of deep breaths and he's got himself back into the game, so that's good to see. He is okay. I still think it was very sensible refereeing from the man with the whistle to blow that up at that time, because after he copped one there and was lying on the ground just out from the post, the potential was that he was going to be bulldozed by somebody. Now the Warriors have got another penalty. And Thorley takes the kick and goes for distance this time. Gets it about 33 out. So they are a chance here. Going forward is Litster. He was good in patches in the first half, but been fairly quiet since the break. Although, to be fair, he may have some of that time on the bench. There's Harvey again. Fraser Harvey. Up to the 20. That's Brebner. Offloads. Gives it to Thorley again. They're back at the 20. Graham. Middleton. Still going Middleton. Wrapped up at the 10. Or just short of. Come across to the right. Grubber kick has bounced off one of the Roos players. Bounce backwards, so the Roos able to charge out. Simkin takes it up to their 20-metre line. Now it's with Afamui. Make another 10 metres. It's almost every tackle they're making 10 metres. And sometimes more. Nagiri. Quick play the ball. Dent comes in, gives it off to Cronin. No, not Cronin. It's the other bloke. It's the other back. It's Tavita Aroha. The player down injured in back play for the Warriors. And we'll get time stopped. I appreciate it's the letter of the law, but sometimes maybe just let it tick a little bit. Give it another 30 seconds here. Not entirely sure of the injury. I'm not sure who's left on the bench either. I'm trying to see if there's anyone left on the bench. I think there might be one player down there, but as it is, Dustin Litster gets back into the fray. See Ashland on the field there. So I'm just trying to see if there's anybody downstairs. Not entirely sure. So we're back into the play, and it's the Warriors. Double figures would be their first target for this afternoon, or the next target for this afternoon. It's about the only thing they've got left to play for. Watman gives it across to Fullerby. Ricky Fullerby bounces out of one tackle, goes low so he can't be lifted. He's across the 30. Where can they find the next 27 metres from? Harvey again, makes it to the 20. Bailey Graham directing the traffic. Takes a couple of steps across to the side before he offloads to Middleton, then on to Thorley. Thorley still going, 7 metres out. They need to come back across to the left. We've got Litzter there. Litzter had to stop and wait. There you go. And number 12 puts a kick through. Oh my goodness, he's put a kick through. Connor Brebner dives on it and scores. There we go. Try something different. I don't know if a second rower putting a grubber kick through is in the coaching manual anywhere, but hey, it's got some points on the board. And West Belconnen, it's been a very long wait for them, but they finally get their second try of the afternoon. You can see there, it was Dustin Litzter. He was almost stationary there. Gives it across to Brebner on the kick. It was not the best of passes. I will say it was a much better kick than it was a pass, and Connor Brebner, well, he's got a smile on his face and he deserves it. He's had a pretty decent game this afternoon, coming in off the bench wearing the number 22 jersey. And Dustin Litzter gets a little one for the highlight reel later on. Now Brebner, after scoring, gets the chance to convert his own try. When was the last time you saw a player in the number 22 jersey score a try and convert his own try? Does not happen often. So, with 11 minutes left on the clock, it's 52-12. I can't imagine that the Queanbeyan Roos will take their foot off the gas, but at the same time, when you've got a 40-point break with this much time left, you don't want to be copying any injuries, so then maybe they'll just ease up a tiny. Chance for the West Belconnen side to reduce the ugly-looking deficit they've got on the scoreboard. And on the subject of that, half the field covered by Fraser Harvey on the first tackle. So that's a good start to this set. Goes through Middleton, through hands to Ashland. Ashland up over halfway. Wrestled to the ground by Matthew Lewis. Run from dummy half. Now a ball across to Watman. Watman still going, gets up to the 30. Referee calls held. The sideline was looming as a big danger there. Oh, we've got a bit of a punch on going onto the side there. I couldn't quite see that. It was out, certainly obscured to my direct line of sight here. And I think Monique, our camera operator, has done well to spot that. So thank you, Monique. Good work. Bit of push and shove. I don't know if there were any punches thrown. Certainly none caught on our camera. Referee has called time off a couple of times. So the clock has definitely stopped. How many times has that he's blown the whistle? Someone's counting, we got 3. Now the problem with this is we've had the whistle, now we get to wait around for a few minutes for... Oh no, it hasn't finished yet. It's just moved across a different bunch of players getting involved. I appreciate that when one side's 40 points down, they may not be the happiest bunch of boys out there. But at the same time, I don't quite understand the allure of going for a bit of push and shove when surely all you really want to do is to just get out and call it quits for the afternoon. So we've got 10.5 to go. And now we get the conversation between the referee and the two touchies. See if we actually get anything going here. Chat. Yeah, pizza. 3 orange whips. The word we're receiving, number 3 for West Bell, number 3 for Kangaroos, but a number 3 was late. That is the word we're receiving. If you're 40 points down and you get a player sent to the bin for 10 minutes with 10:36 on the clock, what happens there? So Connor Brebner's been called out, having just had a good play, a good spell where he scores a try and converts it himself, and now he gets a break. So he gets 10 minutes. So he'll come back on for the remaining 36 seconds of this game. So, just repeating that we didn't catch it on our camera, unfortunately, what started it all, because it was just forward of play to the side. And also getting a break is Gideon Afamui. Well, that's two of the try scorers we've seen from this afternoon sent to the bin. The next question is, who's going to wind up with the ball? Which way is the penalty going to go? Because obviously with two players sent to the sin bin, someone's going to get the penalty. And the way they're lining up, I wonder whether it's going to be the West Belconnen Warriors with the ball. It will be. So Riley Fullerby has the ball, kicks it to the touch. So must have been Gideon Afamui who was late, and Connor Brebner perhaps didn't take a liking to it. Or maybe Connor Brebner was the third man in, but the penalty eventually, after all that, went to the West Belconnen side. So it's 12 on 12 to wrap things up this afternoon, except for the last 30 seconds. Chris Thorley goes across the field, gives it across to Fraser Harvey. Harvey, he started this run upfield at what seems like half an hour ago. But instead he gets held up. In fact, has copped a high tackle. So it's another penalty to the West Belconnen side. They could do worse than to tap and go quickly here. And they do just that through Graham across. Now it's with Litster. Punch to the ground. I don't have to rush things here, but Berry, he's got it. They could score successive tries here. We haven't seen them do that this afternoon. Now it's with Middleton. He gives it across to Watman. Watman looking to try and get through. In the end, brought down by the combined efforts of three Kangaroos players. Graham at dummy half to Middleton. Pretty ordinary pass. Picked up off the ground by Ashland. He flicks it across to Fullerby. Might have been forward. Was forward. And so it all comes unstuck once again for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. 9 minutes remaining on the clock. 40 points the difference. The scrum goes down. The clock continues to tick. So that's Jesse Dent. To Vita Aroha, rather. Dent once again. Come across to the right. A call of shoulder charge, and the referee agrees. So this game really starting to peter away into what do the Americans call it in NFL games? Call it garbage time. And well, look at this. Nobody terribly keen to tackle, and eventually it winds up in the hands of Jesse Dent. He gets his second try for the afternoon. If you were to put together a textbook, how to score easy rugby league tries, you'd have three textbook examples of that this afternoon from the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. That one's probably the most difficult of them, and I won't say it was a severely difficult try, just the tap and go from Crisp. And Crisp keeps going and steps around the fullback, McDonald. Not that McDonald had much choice, but he had to go. And Jesse Dent was waiting, and there it goes. 56-12, 7.5 remaining. So that's the 10th try for the day for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos side. They're just rolling along like a steamroller. Crisp has 8 conversions from 9 attempts, and I reckon this one's probably the easiest one of the lot. He is directly in front of the posts. He's taking plenty of time with it. Can't say I blame him for that. Comes in, kicks, converts, 58 points to 12, 6:34 remaining. And I've just about run out of space to mark scoring activity from Brent Crisp on the book. 9 from 10 he's gone this afternoon. A reminder, we're down to 12 men on each side for everything bar the last 36 seconds of this game. And do not adjust your sets. That score is correct, 58 points to 12. The high kick off. And a knock-on comes from it, so a little bit of push and shove happening again. Luke Dumas it was who was underneath it for the Roos and just completely misjudged it. So it'll be a scrum. That'll wipe another 30 seconds off the clock. Middleton to Thorley. And he keeps pushing up towards the 10. Still waiting for the call to hold. There it comes as he gets back up over the 20-metre line. That was Lockhead. Now it comes across to Harvey to make the final charge. He's 5 metres out. They're directly in front of the post. Plenty of enthusiasm from Bailey Graham. He was wanting a faster play of the ball than that. It goes through hands, through Ashland, onto Fullervie, back to Ashland. Ashland manages to almost judo flip his tackler over his shoulder. Nice trick while you're carrying a football to do that. Harvey, shape to kick, underarms it, Trevor Chappell style, into the chest of Chris Thorley, and Thorley makes the last 8 metres and gets the ball down. Not sure how far back we'll go to this, but if we can get the chance to see that little judo flip manoeuvre over on the sideline, that'd be entertaining. But let's see where we can pick this up from on the replay. 58-16 the score. Thorley's got a double, and I think has comfortably been the best. Here we go. So he gets down to Ashland. Just the tackler flips over and now comes across through hands. This is good. Good little ball. I'm not sure whether Harvey was legitimately ever going to kick that, but he certainly shaped as though he was going to. Flips the underarm to Thorley, and Thorley has no one in front of him. So here we go again. Watch this judo move. Here we go. Up and over you go. Ippon. It's about the only judo scoring term I know. I don't know whether it is one or not, but we'll just let it fly. Good ball from Thorley. On to Harvey. Harvey keeps one hand free, flicks it to Thorley, and Thorley in for the try. 58-16, kick to come. 3.5 minutes remaining. And Thorley is taking all the time in the world. And he's converting his own try now because Andrew McDonald is out of the game. So Thorley has managed to convert that, so he has 2 tries and a conversion. Oh, Connor Brebner, of course, was the other bloke who was taking conversions, and he's in the sin bin. So, hence, 3 different conversion attempts from 3 different players, and they've all got them during the course of the afternoon. Should probably say this with 2.5 minutes remaining. It's a trick of the camera that makes the ground look like it's on a slope on your screen as well. It is not, the West Belconnen Warriors are not running downhill. It's just an optical illusion from the angle of the grandstand that we're on here at our broadcast point. So Bailey Graham gives it off to Fraser Harvey. It's not Harvey. Yes, it is. It is Harvey. Just the way he went down, just something looked funny about him. Now it's with Berry. They come across the field. 2 minutes 14 left on the official game clock. And, well, in some ways, this is the story of the afternoon. Kylie, on the back of that after another loose bit of play from the West Belconnen Warriors, sees a turnover, and the Roos once again with possession in scoring territory. They're well inside the red zone. That was Aroha, Tavita Aroha. Dent went in to try and pass, and it was a bit slow away. Aroha back again. Big Tavita. 7 out. 90 seconds left in this game. We'll give it to a bustling Ayres, and Ayres heads for the stripe. I reckon he's got that down underneath the pile there. And I guess from his reaction, he doesn't score too many. Because the way he's put his hand up and the way he's high-fiving his teammates there, it's as though he's just won the Rugby League World Cup. Joshua Ayres, if you do score plenty, I apologise, but certainly the way you're celebrating there, it looks like you don't get too many of them. And, well, again, actually, he's done a pretty good job there. There's 5 West Belconnen shirts surrounding him as he goes to ground. You see it here as we go for the replay for one more time. Just goes across. Ayres has it. He's got Harvey, Litster, Thorley, Graham, I think, was in there as well. And there was 5 all up. Well, the good news is, for the West Belconnen side, is that the suffering will stop in about 20 seconds as Brent Crisp sends one over between the uprights for the 10th time this afternoon. He is 10 from 11. And with 2 seconds left on the clock, the players aren't particularly keen to make their way back up towards the halfway line. So, for the final siren, it'll probably sound. There it goes. The referee was equally as keen as the players to get off. He'd already blown the whistle 3 times to signal the end of the game. You can see the team shaking hands there. There's been a bit of push and shove going on in there. I don't think either of the Sin Bin players actually made it back on with the conversion pending for that last 45 seconds of the game. 64 points to 18, the final score. Let's run through the scorers and wrap it up for the afternoon. 2 tries apiece to Jesse Dent and Troy Wiley. Singles to Brian Cronin, Gideon Afamui, Jed Simpkin, Brent Crisp, Joshua Essex, Aaron Gorrell and Joshua Ayres. And 10 from 11 with the conversions for Brent Crisp. He's had, I think, what you can safely say is a day. Chris Thorley, 2 tries and a conversion for the West Belconnen Warriors. Connor Brebner, 1 try and a conversion, and Andrew McDonald with 1 conversion. 64 points to 18, the final score in this game. I think most people would have been expecting Queanbeyan Kangaroos to win. I don't think most people would have been expecting it to be a win of that magnitude, but the Kangaroos have shown repeatedly this season they are capable of scoring a lot of points. In the Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup, next weekend is a general bye, so there's no footy on the June long weekend here in the nation's capital. So I can tell you that the West Belconnen Warriors will be playing in 2 weeks' time on a Sunday afternoon. They host the Gungahlin Bulls here as we start the second half of the season. The Queanbeyan Kangaroos will be at Tuggeranong on the Saturday, which would be the 17th of June, and our next Bar TV game in the Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup is on Sunday the 18th of June. It will be the Woden Valley Rams versus the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs. That is going to be a most interesting affair in a fortnight's time. On behalf of everyone at the Bar TV company and at the Canberra Raiders Cup, this is Chris Coleman signing off for a Sunday afternoon from Kipax, where the final score was the Queanbeyan Kangaroos 64, West Belconnen 18.